What are some pro tips for building wealth? Some little adjustments that you can make that can actually make a big difference, help you build wealth faster. I've got 5 of those, that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. There's no elevator up the mountain. I will tell you that as you're pursuing building wealth. Yes, there's some that can exploit a unique talent, Shohei Ohtani, or can take an enormous risk and have outsized results, or Elon Musk, or someone like that, Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, absolutely. But that's not the normal way of building wealth. And yes, that is. It looks easy, it seems fast, and it seems appealing and exciting. That's not the normal way. That's not how most people build wealth. They build wealth through proper process, the right discipline applied over the long period of time, picking the right Sherpa, right, the right guide up the mountain, and the right planning approach and navigating their various steps. And yet, even though it's sacrifice and it's long term, and it's all those those careful steps along the way, and as you make a misstep, as we all do, correcting course and making those adjustments, it doesn't mean there aren't little hacks or little tweaks that can help you maybe move quicker up the mountain, or maybe there are little adjustments, and to continue this bad analogy, adjustments in your gear, right, to have to help you move quicker or get there faster. Now, this isn't an exhaustive list, but as I was just thinking about this time of year, I was recalibrating, even in my own situation and for clients, and thought, yeah, there's a couple tricks here that is not a shortcut. It doesn't cut you through the mountain or whatever, but it does help you, if other people are on the same path, like you can, pass them quick, or by applying a few of these things. They're really simple. It's not going to be earth-shattering. But by applying these, it can get you faster towards building wealth. Again, not an exhaustive list, and not all of these will apply to you. But all right, here's 5 pro tips for building wealth. Well, as you're funding your 401k or workplace retirement plan, that has to be dollar cost averaged in. What I mean by that is every paycheck you're making a contribution. So here's the wealth building tip. Make sure that your ongoing contributions are going into an aggressive mix of investments. And before you say, okay, thanks, Sherlock, oftentimes, as you either get close to retirement, you're able to save up more, and you start thinking, I should start reducing risk, and therefore you shift your investment elections. I know you do this because it can be confusing. You shift your investment elections, which means you actually start saving into 60% stock and 40% bond. You start investing your new dollars into a more conservative mix. And sometimes you have the wherewithal, or maybe there's a button to say, rebalance your existing account into this mix, and you say, oh yeah, that's what I want to do too. So you either do that at retirement or near retirement, or you do that because the stock market's going down, and you have this feeling of, well, I'm putting money in, and I'm flushing it down the drain because I put $3,000 in this past quarter, and I look at my quarterly statement and I've lost $5,000. So therefore I shouldn't be doing this. No, guys. Dollar cost averaging is the process of you buying into volatile investments where the price moves up and down. But when you're buying in when things are low, when the share price is low, your dollar contribution is able to buy more shares at low prices, versus when that price recovers and it's now high, your dollar contribution is buying fewer shares. So say $1,000 a month, when the price is low, i.e. the market drops, you're buying more shares with that $1,000, versus when the price jumps back up, you're buying fewer shares. Therefore, this is, again, you've got to apply it to your situation. It's just a pro tip. Even if your overall risk tolerance is to get more conservative, rebalance your portfolio, but have your ongoing contributions, your new contributions, continue to get the benefit and the leverage of dollar cost averaging, and have those dollars continue to be aggressive. Your overall mix can be adjusted down and so on when it makes sense to take some gains or rebalance to reduce risk. But new dollars, capture dollar cost averaging and have those dollars stay aggressive and stay long-term, even if you're on the cusp of retirement. Second wealth building pro tip, fund that Roth as soon as possible in the beginning of the year. Why? And I just mentioned the benefits of dollar cost averaging, but the reason I'm bringing this up is you don't need to dollar cost average your Roth. I like it and it works if that's what works with your cash flow. But if you've got the cash, fund that Roth as soon as possible at the beginning of the year. Why? Is it because I know what's going to happen this year? No. I know what's happened the past 100 years. And that is 3 out of every 4 years are positive in the market. So as soon as you're allowed to put money in your Roth, put money in your Roth if you've got the cash flow to do it. And again, I would say the same thing with the 401k. It's just you can't put a lump sum in, and you don't. Most of us don't have control over when we're going to get paid, when we're going to get our paycheck. And so with the Roth, if you've got the cash flow, fund that thing early. Fund that thing in January every year. 25% of the time you'll be disappointed. 75% of the time you'll actually be better off because you'll have purchased at the beginning of the year in 3 out of 4 years on average. Now I have no idea if that will stay the same historical average in the future. I know 100 years is a pretty large sample size, and because the Roth, the benefit is the tax-free growth. Fund that thing at the beginning of the year. Third wealth building pro tip: reinvest your dividends. Reinvest your dividends. Now this is basic, and yet it's worth mentioning today because 20 years ago everyone knew this because most investments paid dividends. And so one of the focuses of your overall return was how much dividend are you getting? How much dividend are you getting? Therefore, reinvesting returns or reinvesting your dividends was a mantra everyone cared about. Well, nowadays, so many of the most attractive investments are growth oriented that they don't pay dividends, and there's not much dividend focus. So much so, guys, that even in my own portfolio, one of the income producing tools that we recommend for our clients as a satellite, I use for myself as well. And as I was recalibrating around the beginning of the year, I just recently had purchased this. Turns out my 401k was set up. This portion of the account was set up to not reinvest dividends. And I don't remember that was not a conscious decision. It must have been a default. And so I went in and, instead of, thinking, oh gosh, who made this mistake? It was just, no, click, reinvest dividends. There you go. And so you want to have that awareness. And why? Because if not, those dollars sit in cash. And, if the stock market goes down temporarily, then thank goodness. But we know those dips are temporary and they're painful and they feel like they'll never end. But they're temporary. And instead, using dividends to reinvest allows you to dollar cost average and allows you to accumulate more shares and build more wealth over time, compounding that interest that you're earning. Fourth wealth building hack or pro tip for building wealth: a lot of people use credit cards for the points. But what do you use your points for? And I know a lot of people. We're a Disney family. I've got 3 young kids, and so we've enjoyed going to Disney. And a lot of people have said, "Oh, yeah, I use my my Disney credit card to get Disney points and all that sort of stuff." And that may make the most sense. I've always been financially minded, and therefore a hack, a wealth building tip we've recommended to others is use a credit card that gives you points that are cash back that immediately go into an investment. Now, obviously, this is not all types of accounts, but but Fidelity and there are investment type companies that offer credit cards through Visa or MasterCard or whatever. The points, I would tell you should be looking for 2% back or 1.5% cash back, and make sure you've got a good structure. But just having them auto, I have mine personally. I just have them auto redeem directly into my investment account, and it builds up over time and gets invested. And you might say, yeah, but I'm not, I don't have mine set up that way. It does give me points towards stuff that I would pay money on anyway. Yes, it does. And to each their own. This is this might be a very minor thing that could help you up the mountain. But do those points ever give you reason to splurge when you otherwise wouldn't? does it actually help you spend more money versus save you money? Or let me say it differently. Does it actually save you money, but then that money you saved actually gets directed to helping you achieve your long-term goals? Most people say no. And now don't mishear me and say, well, it does help me have better enjoyment and get to do more things, and you're telling me not to do that. No, you're going to measure financial success in balance. And if it helps you with balance, absolutely. But if you're looking for faster ways or a smoother track up the mountain, consider a credit card that gives you points, and those points go automatically into an investment for you. And then the last wealth building pro tip, this one doesn't apply to many people because it has to do with required minimum distribution. But you might have inherited an account from a parent. You may in the future, or certainly we're all going to be subject to required minimum distributions depending on your age and how long you live. Taking your required minimum distribution at the end of the year. And that's going to drive us crazy or your financial advisor crazy. Don't wait to the very last day, but somewhere in the fourth quarter. Why? Again, the principle goes back to, well, 3 out of 4 years are positive in the market, so let those dollars continue to grow for as long as possible. But then the second is, if you're doing required minimum distribution on your own accounts and you've surpassed age, I mean, it's now 73, soon to be 75, it's at age 70 and a half that you're allowed to do qualified charitable distributions. And if you do it there at the end of the year, then you can align it with some year-end giving, and you can minimize the taxable impact of your required minimum distribution. All of that, again, has very narrow application, but it does help you keep more dollars invested for your financial future and more dollars sheltered from the tax man. So fewer dollars are going and slipping through your fingers going to taxes. All right, that's certainly not an exhaustive list. That's 5 of, gosh, probably an infinite number of wealth building pro tips and hacks. As more come to mind, to certainly share them. Share your favorite ones below as well in the comments, and help us all kind of take a faster route up that wealth building mountain. On any of these, and certainly the big picture financial planning, work with your CFP. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. Right there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.